beach in Florida. Or you go, I was showing him this morning, he was laughing. Or you go to the naked dance show. He said, and you think, I will get some pleasure there. I will get some happiness in this place. But actually you cannot get any pleasure or any happiness. It is the same thing in different ways. You keep looking at this sense gratification, and we keep thinking, somehow I'm going to squeeze out the juice. Somehow, the next time I hear that song, it will get better than it was the last time. Right? If I hear it one more time, then I'll get more juice out of it this one time. And it'll make me happy. But actually it doesn't. It never does. Or you think that by going to see that movie one more time, or hearing that song, seeing the movie, going to the dance show, whatever. It's just different ways of trying to enjoy sense gratification. And you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze, trying to squeeze the juice out. How can I get the juice out of this sense gratification? How can I get happiness? How can I get pleasure? Srila Prabhupada, in all of those lectures, he kept repeating again and again, you go to the naked dance show, you go to the naked dance show, you go to the naked dance show. He was very adamant about how this was not going to bring you any happiness. And we know from the scientific studies that people who look at pornography and these things, it gives off endorphins in the brain, and it causes some loop of happiness with your serotonin, etc. And then when you stop seeing it, it goes away, and then you hanker for it again, and so you go back. But, after a while, you can't get any juice out of that. It's got you on an endorphin loop, and you're going in circles. There's no happiness. There's no happiness. Eventually, it becomes so hackneyed. And so, real happiness can't be gotten here in this material world. We cannot get real happiness in the material world. This material world will only bring about suffering.
Jai Ho, Haribo, Jai Maharaj.
This was made by my disciple today. So Prahlad Maharaj, he preaches to his fellow students, and he tells them, you can't be happy in this material world. You should start doing this when you're young, he says. You should start taking up this Krishna consciousness as young as possible. He said, because first of all, we lose 50% of our life sleeping. So that leaves 50%. Then you spend the first 20 years, 25 years in education. So if there's 100 years in your life and 50% is lost sleeping and 25 years is on education, you've only got 25 years left. And then you get married and you have a family. So then where is there any time for your spiritual life? There is no time. Spiritual life becomes lost. So Prahlad was preaching like this. And he preached to his father. His father asked him, so, my darling son, he was so attached to Prahlad, my darling son, please tell me, what is the best thing that you have learned from your teachers? Oh, best amongst the demons. Prahlad was very bold. He's a real preacher. He had no fear. Oh, best amongst the demons. I have not learned anything of any value from my teachers. But what I have learned is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Atmanivedanam. This is what I have learned to be the best thing. This is the best teachings. That we should hear about Vishnu. Vishnu! Hiranyakashipu became so angry. Vishnu! He was very angry. So he began to abuse Prahlad in so many ways. So many ways he abused Prahlad. Because he could not tolerate. He believed that Vishnu had killed his brother, Hiranyaksha. And so he could not tolerate. He became very angry with Prahlad. And first, what he did was he sent Prahlad to be tortured by the demons that he had in his employ. And the demons were poking Prahlad with spears and tridents and swords and so many things. But none of them could penetrate Prahlad's body. Prahlad just sat there very peacefully chanting. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just chanting. Very peacefully chanting. And so no matter what the demons did, they couldn't penetrate Prahlad. And then, when he saw that they couldn't penetrate Prahlad, then he decided, okay, I'm going to boil him in oil. So he threw Prahlad into a big, he had the demons throw Prahlad in a big pot of boiling oil, and instead of him boiling, the pot became full of flowers. And then, after that, he thought, there has to be some way that I can kill this boy. So I'll get the big elephant to come and step on his head. But the big elephant wouldn't step on Prahlad's head. The big elephant picked Prahlad up and put him on his own head, victoriously. And then he became more angry and he thought, I'll throw him off the cliff. But that didn't work. Krishna caught him before he fell to the ground. And then he thought, I'll drown him in the ocean. But Krishna went into the ocean and saved him. So again and again, and then he made his wife put poison on his food, so that if he ate the food, he would get poisoned. And when he ate the food, before he ate it, he offered it to Krishna. And it became prasadam. So then he couldn't be killed. So in this way, Prahlad was preaching. He was preaching to his father. He was preaching to the students. He was always preaching. He was always encouraging people to be engaged in Krishna's service and take up the process of Krishna consciousness. To stop chewing the chewed. To stop trying to find some pleasure out of this material world. To stop thinking that you'll find happiness in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Because there's no happiness in any of these activities. We think there's happiness, and we keep pursuing it. Well, maybe the next time I eat it will be better. Maybe the next time I drink, I won't get that drunk. Or maybe I'll get just drunk enough. Right? We're always thinking that somehow or other I can adjust the material pleasure so that it'll be just right, and then I'll be happy. But we can't. We can't be happy. And so Prahlad preached to his father because his father was the source of all this. His father actually was so evil, and he had become so powerful in the universe that he did this thing where the people who did pious activities went to hell, and the people who did impious activities went to heaven. He changed the whole universe around. So he was encouraging everyone to be sinful. Be as sinful as you like, and then when you die, you'll go to heaven. So corrupt. But Prahlad wasn't afraid. Oh, king of the demons, I have learned nothing from my teachers. What I have learned is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. What? No Vishnu. I don't want to hear about Vishnu. He was so angry. So angry. So finally he takes Prahlad on his lap and he's yelling and screaming at him that, why won't you die, why won't you die? And he throws him on the floor thinking he'll smash him, and he doesn't get hurt. And he says, who's protecting you? He said, the person who's protecting you is protecting me. He's very clever, Prahlad. No, no, no. No one's protecting me. I protect myself. So then, what he did was he started shouting at Prahlad. Okay, if God is protecting you, where is he? Where is this God? Is this God over here? Is he over here? Is he over here? Is he over here? Is he in this pillar? So when he asked, Prabhupada told a story one time, and this is the way he told it. He said that when Prahlad asked Hiranyakashipu, is he in the pillar? Prahlad looked, it was a big pillar, and he looked up the pillar, and way up at the top of the pillar, Nrsimha was sitting there. And he winked at Prahlad. And Prahlad turned to his father and he said, oh yes, Father, he's there in the pillar. Now Shamarani's going to tell you. Right? Aren't you going to lecture now? You're not lecturing today?
I am, but are you? I thought that Vasanti told me, or Nrsimha told me that you were going to speak about the song, the Kirtan to Lord Nrsimha.
The what?
The Kirtan to Lord Nrsimha Day.
The Kirtan to Lord
Like
Nrsimha.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur
Okay.
from Navadip Bhagavatam.
He told me that I was going to speak about that tomorrow morning at the Sunday feast.
Oh, because tomorrow is also Madhav and Puri.
Yes,
And,
this was
Srinivas
before I
Acharya.
saw that.
And,
So he told me, so I was prepared to speak about that
that's
tomorrow
fine,
morning.
That's fine.
I mean, I prepared, I told you I was going to
Well,
do Charva.
It's 6:30. We have literally 2 hours until Abhishek. There is plenty of time to do that as well.
An hour and 15 minutes.
So you want me now
No,
to,
it's totally up to you. I was just taking the
okay, but then tomorrow, what am I going to speak about tomorrow?
Is Madhavendra Puri.
You want me to do Madhavendra Puri tomorrow? Yeah, I can do Madhavendra Puri.
Srinivas
Acharya,
And who else is one?
Parameshwar.
Parameshwari.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could tell all these stories about Madhavendra Puri. I have a whole book full of those in my repertoire.
I'm just saying what I was told.
Okay, so I mean, there's no problem. We can talk about those 6 prayers of
Are you
Lord.
already prepared to, or were you?
Yeah, actually, I did. I was preparing the 2 lectures simultaneously.
Because,
You know how my brain is. I got to do too many things at once. Yeah.
Because the Saki Xerox them.
Actually, Madi did.
Okay, well, hand them out.
Alright. Nice.
Vasanti, hand them out, Vasanti.
It's a whole set.
So there's a set.
It's a set. It's actually 10 prayers, Maharaj.
Huh?
It's actually 10 prayers.
It's 5 prayers.
Oh, I
He
see.
separated them into
Gotcha, yeah,
separate stanzas. But in Navadip Bhagavatam, it's
In
written
Navadvip Bhavataranga, it's
5
written as 5
No,
prayers.
prayers of 4 lines.
A lot of paper.
You want to also sing it because it's
That's right,
sung
she
in the
does.
meter of
At least it's maybe.
It's totally up to you.
Yeah, I hear her.
We should sing it.
Yeah, we could sing it. Not a problem. I'm trying to pull it up here. Okay.
Do you want one of these instead of having to pull it up?
She divided it into 10 prayers.
Yeah, that's how it came in from Madhukar. So.
That's how it came what?
Like, that's how Madhukar who sent it out.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want to see what I've got here. Because that's the way I learned it as 5 prayers, not 10 prayers.
Yeah.
Well, I printed it, so it must be my fault. I printed it, so it's my fault.
What? Okay. Yeah, before I talk about this, I just want to talk about another prayer that I posted on my page called the Shani Nrsimha Kruta Stuti. And Shani is the personification of Saturn. He's the deity of Saturn. And he causes most of the misery that we experience. Every 30 years you have what's called your Sadashati, in which for 7.5 years you suffer due to the influence of Saturn. This is for everybody in this material world. So the devotees actually get a special dispensation from this by Shani. Because Shani composed a prayer to Lord Nrsimha. And that prayer that he composed to Lord Nrsimha is very appreciative of this prayer. And what he does, he says in the end of the prayer, Lord Nrsimha says that O Shani, let it be so. By virtue of my being the universal protector, Rakshabhula, I fulfill the desires of my devotees. Please listen to my words. Let there be no fear of the 12th and 8th birth positions, and implicitly of any unfavorable birth position, or any consequential troubles from you for anyone who reads or listens to this prayer to me, composed by you. Then Shani Dev replied to the Lord that he would follow the Lord's instructions. Then the joyful saints and sages present there in Brahma's assembly responded with cries of Jai Jai. Sri Krishna himself told Dharmaraj Yudhisthira, whoever listens to or recites this conversation between Shani Dev and Lord Nrsimha in the form of this prayer of devotion will definitely have all desires fulfilled and will always rejoice. So, it's a nice prayer. It's not aimed, my feeling is, at material fulfillment, but aimed at making your life better for serving the Lord. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for coming. So now we're going to recite these prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. he wrote these prayers. And there's one thing that I hadn't actually done, which I was preparing to do for tomorrow, concerning these prayers, was to brush up on Nrsimha and the place of Nrsimha where Lord Nrsimhadev actually appears. And if I recall correctly, it's the place where he washes his nails from the blood that's on his fingers.
We can still talk about that tomorrow.
No. I mean, that's all I really want to say about it. That's what Nrsimha is. It's the place where he washes his
Hands.
nails. Huh?
He washes the hands after killing.
Yeah, he washes his hands after tearing up Hiranyakashipu. So now he wrote these 5 prayers about that particular form of Nrsimhadev there at Nrsimha. And it's important to understand it in the context of how Navadvip Dham is considered the Dham of preference for worship during Kali Yuga, because there's no offenses at that in that Dham, and it's non-different from Vrindavan. And so even Jagannath Das Babaji left Vrindavan Dham and went to Navadvip Dham to do his bhajan for that reason. And so this prayer was written in the Navadvip Bhavataranga by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And it's significant because it helps us to understand what is the relationship of Lord Nrsimhadev. Ugra Nrsimha seems so totally in opposition to Radharani and the Kunj. But yet, there is a very valuable reason for Lord Nrsimhadev's presence in our practice of Krishna consciousness. And so this is expressed here in this prayer by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And what is it? Gauranga Balite Habe, that tune? Okay. So we're going to try and sing this now. Just getting a handle on it. E dushtari daye kama Adiri puchaya Kutinati pratishtasa Satya Sadaraya E dushtari daye kama Adiri puchaya Kutinati pratishtasa Satya Sadaraya Hridaya Shobhana Ara Krishna Vasana Nrsimha Charane Mora Eto Kamana Hridaya Shodhana Krishna Vasana Nrsimha Charane Mora Eto Kamana Kandiya Nrsimha Pade Magibo Kakana Nira darshane se hari prasana hoibo kabe more daya kori. Yadyapi Bishana Murti Dusta Jiva Prati Pralada Di Krishna Bhakta Jane Badras Ati. Kabeva prasana hoye sakripa vachane nirbhaya karibe muda akinchane. Kabeva prasana hoye sakripa vachane nirbhaya Swachanda by Sohabasta Shri Gauranga Dhame Jugala Bhajaneha Rateha Name. Swachanda by Sohabasta Vatsa Shri Gauranga Kripa bale Vigna jabe dura Shuddha chitte bhaja radha Krishna rasa pura. Mama bhakta kripa bale Vigna jabe dura Shuddha chitte Radha Krishna rasa pura. Devori kabe mora mastaka upada Sviya Shri Charana Hashe Daribe Ishvara. Jugala preme satvika vikare dare daraya lutibo ami Shina Singha dware. Jugala preme satvika Jai Nrsimha Deva, Jai Nrsimha Deva, Jai Nrsimha Deva, Jai Nrsimha Deva. I never sang it before. This was the first time
Jai.
I sang it. I hope it was all right.
Great.
Okay. E dushtari daya kama adirutpu chaya. Kutinati pratishtasa satya sararaya. Hridaya shodhana ara krishnera vasana. Nrsimha charane mora eto kamana. Within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies headed by lust perpetually reside. So what are the 6 enemies? Tell me, as lust and
Lust,
then anger,
Greed.
greed.
Dupliciousness.
No.
Envy.
Envy.
Illusion.
Illusion and pride.
Mm.
What's the root?
Lust, anger, greed,
Lust
pride,
is the
envy,
root.
illusion.
Lust is the root.
Envy is the root.
Envy is the root.
Envy is the root.
Envy is the root. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says all the other 5 anarthas come from envy. And Narottam Das Thakur says that you can dovetail the other 5 anarthas. Like Hanuman dovetailed his anger, the gopis dovetail lust. A person can dovetail his greed for hearing Hari Katha. But envy cannot be dovetailed.
Envy is the lowest step before one falls into Patala,
Don't
right?
call out.
I apologize.
Don't call out when someone is speaking. Envy is the root of all of the other anarthas. Thank you so much for bringing the garlands.
The most welcome.
So, how is it that envy is the root? Do we know why envy is the root? What are we envious of? Krishna. Krishna has 6 opulences. What are Krishna's 6 opulences? He's all beautiful.
Strength.
He's all powerful.
Renounce.
Huh?
Knowledgeable?
All knowledge.
Fame.
Huh? Fame. What? What is she saying? I can't
She's
hear
saying
her.
wealth.
Wealth. Fame, wealth, and renunciation. So what are people envious of? What do they want? I want to be the most beautiful. I want to be more beautiful than anybody who's ever been beautiful before. I want everyone to look at my beauty. I want more wealth than anyone who's ever had wealth before. I want more power, physically or influentially, than anyone has ever had before. I want to be famous. I want to be more famous than anyone. So we envy Krishna for his opulences. We envy Krishna for his opulences, and by that envy we become lusty and greedy to obtain them. And if Krishna doesn't give us the opulences we want, even in a small measure, we become angry. Why won't Krishna make me beautiful? Why won't he give me more money? Why won't he make me famous? We see sometimes, huh? People, they're so desperate to be famous, they make fools of themselves in public. These are the drugs of material world. You're not just addicted to drugs and alcohol, you're addicted to fame, power, beauty. These are also addictions in the material world. So, these anarthas are all rooted in envy. And Narottam Das Thakur says we can dovetail the other five, but we can't dovetail envy. Envy has to be ripped out by the roots. So who can rip out envy by the roots from our heart? Nrsimha. Nrsimha is so powerful. He can rip out the envy from our heart. So he's praying. Within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies headed by lust perpetually reside, as well as duplicity, the desire for fame, plus sheer cunning. Cunning because we're trying to trick ourselves into believing that these desires are useful. At the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krishna. And here we see he opens the prayer by expressing the dirty, filthy things that are in his heart. Of course, there's no dirty things in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's heart. He's playing the role of a conditioned soul. So he's saying there's dirty things in the heart. That's us. We have the dirty things in our heart. We're full of dirty things. And so we're praying to Lord Nrsimha, that you please come with your sharp nails and extract that envy out of our heart, along with all of the other 6, the other 5 anarthas. Bring them all out. Take them all out. Take the 6 enemies out. Take them out and destroy them, so that I can make a kunj in my heart for Radha and Krishna. Because as long as these dirty things are in my heart, Krishna won't come there. Radharani certainly won't come there. Radharani's never going to come into anyone's heart that's full of lust and envy and greed. If you want her to come in your heart, you're going to have to get all of that out. So therefore, he's praying to Lord Nrsimha that you please take these out. Hari Bol Madhavi. We have a long, long relationship all over 55th Street. Remember 55th Street? Thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here.
Kandiya Nrsimha Pade Magibo Kakana Nirapade Navadvipe Jugala Bhajana Bhaya Bhaya Paya Yanra Dashane Se Hari Prasana Hoy Bokabe More Dayakari. Weeping. Kandiya. I'm weeping and weeping. I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha for the benediction. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said, if you want entrance into the kunj, you have to enter the crying school. You have to cry. Oh, Radha, where are you? Like Krishna was crying when Radha hid in the kunj. He was going everywhere. Radha Kund, Shama Kund, Seva Kunj, Vamshivat, Keshigat, everywhere he was going, Radhe, Radhe, crying. Then he could find Radha. Radhe doesn't come unless you weep. You have to weep. Weeping is required. Weeping, I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha for the benediction of what? What is he praying to Lord Nrsimha for? Worshipping Radha and Krishna in Navadvip. He's praying to Lord Nrsimhadev that he will benedict him so that he can worship Radha and Krishna in Navadvip. This is why we worship Lord Nrsimhadev. Please remove the dirty things from my heart and bless me that I can worship Radha Krishna in Navadvip. This is my prayer. I'm praying to you for this with tears in my eyes. I want to worship Radha Krishna in Navadvip perfectly safe and free from all difficulties. What are the difficulties? The difficulties are aparads. In Navadvip there's no aparads. Just see Srila Nrsimha Maharaj, he was so kind. He knew that we are so sinful and so offensive. So he made his temple in Aparada Banjan, where all the aparads are forgiven. So we are perfectly safe in Navadvip, especially in Aparada Banjan, because all these aparads can be forgiven. All of them can be destroyed. When will this Lord Hari, Nrsimhadev, whose terrible form strikes fear into fear itself, ever become pleased and show me his mercy? So he's praying to Lord Hari to give him mercy, that he will be able to get the benediction of worshiping What's the matter?
I'm just making it closer to you.
Closer to me.
Yes.
You have to do this yourself? No one can do this for you? Or you're the artist, I forgot. She has to frame it. Now, don't touch it. She put it the way she wanted it. Don't you touch anything that she touched. If Shamarani puts it some way, that's it.
Yes, Bhagavat.
There is no adjustment possible. There is nothing we can offer as an adjustment to what she has done. Okay.
There's a big empty space here and a lot of people back there.
Yeah, everybody can move up.
There's enough seating here for 15 more people.
Come on up, gang.
Sure, yeah, that's different, but everyone is sitting on the floor.
Come on, yogis. Come on up, yogis.
Jagavinda, come on.
Kamala, why you're not sitting here? Why you're not sitting here next to me? There's a space here for you.
She can sit over
Sit over here. Sit over here. Sit next to me over here. No, my Kamala. You should always sit next to me, okay? All right. Okay, now that the thing fell off. R.E.P. Mohini, get this.
My fault.
Good stuff.
Good. Nice frame.
Okay. Are we good now? Are we okay, Radha Govinda? If I chastise you, that means I gave you more mercy than somebody else.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Kandiya Nrsimha Pade Magavo Kakana. I'm weeping at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, and I'm praying that he will take all the dirty things out of my heart and give me a benediction that I can worship Radha and Krishna in Navadvip perfectly safe and free from all difficulties, all aparads. Okay, everybody's got to settle down back there. We're having a great transmigration of
Musical chairs.
all right, everyone okay?
Yes.
Madhavi, you're a yogini, you can sit anywhere.
Right?
Okay. That first verse addresses something I was talking about before, Charvita Charvananam, you know. There's no happiness in this material world, no matter how much. Look at Princess Diana. Gurudev used to use that example. She was so beautiful. She was so wealthy. She was so famous. She was a very intelligent woman. She had all the qualities, huh? So many qualities. Was she happy? Why? Because she was missing love. The real happiness in life is love, and not material love, because material love is temporary, it comes and goes. You think you love someone, right? This is part of the Charvita Charvananam. Oh, let me have one more relationship. That will be the right one. I'll find my soulmate, and I will go on forever and ever. Oh. Maya is so good at convincing us, right? That there's that one special person out there. And then after a few weeks or a few months or even a few years sometimes, we start to realize there's no perfect matches. There's no perfect matches. Sense gratification gets in the way. Because sense gratification means I want for me, for my senses. And love means I want to satisfy Krishna's senses. That's love. So we have to understand that we can chew the chewed again and again and again of all these opulences, but we'll never be happy. Even the woman who had all the opulences wasn't happy. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a very powerful statement here, because he says, Bhaya. That Nrsimhadev's terrible form strikes fear into fear itself. And then in the next verse, he talks about it again. Yadyapi Bishana Murti Dushta Jiva Prati Praladadi Krishna Bhakta Jane Badra Ati Kabeva Prasana Hoye Sakripa Vachane Nirbhaya Karibe Muda Akinchane. Even though Lord Nrsimha is terrifying toward the sinful souls, he offers great auspiciousness unto the devotees of Lord Krishna, headed by Prahlad Maharaj. When will he, Lord Nrsimhadev, be pleased to speak words of compassion unto me, a worthless fool, and thereby make me fearless? So this is the second verse in a row he's talking about fear. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maituna. These are the four things. Ahara means foodstuffs. Eating foodstuffs. nice foodstuffs. So many cooking shows on television. We can enjoy this way. We can enjoy food in this taste, in this flavor, in this combination, and on and on and on and on and on. Ahara, ahara, ahara. Feed the tongue, feed the tongue. We think somehow we'll be happy. Ahara, then the next thing, ahara, nidra, sleep. We need sleep. Give me more sleep. Let me sleep more. I need to rest. This world is so difficult. I want to forget it. So let me go to bed. Too many problems to think about. Let me sleep. Ahara nidra bhaya, fear. We're always afraid. So we defend. This is the big... I remember when we were in Bhubaneswar with Prabhupada. Prabhupada was giving a lecture on the installation of the cornerstone for the Bhubaneswar temple. It was Nityananda Trayodasi. So we invited the man whose daughter donated the land. And the man's name was Nityananda Kanungo. And he was a very important personality in the central government of India because he had studied Russian. So he knew how to speak Russian language. And he was the, I think, the deputy minister of either defense or the deputy foreign minister. Deputy foreign minister. And he spoke Russian fluently. So when Khrushchev came from Russia to India to take a tour, because Nehru had created a alliance between the Russians and India in order to hold off China from trying to take over the Himalayas. So the Russians at that time were more powerful than the Chinese. So they warned the Chinese that don't start a fight, don't start a war with India, otherwise we're going to support India. So that was the way he kept China from coming in and taking over the Himalayas. They were trying to take over all the Himalayas because they wanted the minerals for their construction, for their manufacturing. So what happened was, Nityananda Kanungo, he was a very important man. He attended conferences at the UN, and he also took Khrushchev all over India and showed him all the different things that they did in India, you know, making dams and whatever, you know, all that stuff. So he attended this ceremony where we put the cornerstone in. And Nityananda Kanungo was listening to Prabhupada give the lecture. He was giving a lecture. And Prabhupada said, Ahara nidrabhaya maitunam. And he started talking about fear. He said, this principle of defending, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Defending. They're always defending. They have made the world United Nations. Well, everyone is supposed to be working together, but instead they're all barking. Roof, roof, get away from my country. Roof, roof, get away from my country. Prabhupada was doing like this. And Nityananda Kanungo started laughing and laughing and laughing because he had been in that world. He had experienced it. He had first-hand knowledge about how the leaders of the world were always fighting over absolutely nothing, just pride and ego and power and position. And so he understood it. He understood it, and it really made an impression on him that Prabhupada was saying these points. So bhaya, ahara, nidra, bhaya, we're fearful. Fear is a very powerful, emotion that we experience in. I'm trying to get up this. There's a verse that I pulled up. I'll find it. There it is. So fear is very powerful, and fear comes from the illusion that you're this body. That comes right at the beginning when you come into this material world. Sasaraja chayaya vidyam pacha parvanam agrata tamishram anda tamishram tamo moho mahatama. First of all, Brahma created from his shadow the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in number, and they are called Tamishra, Anda Tamishra, Tamas, Moha, and Mahamoha. The conditioned souls or living entities who come to the material world to enjoy sense gratification are covered from in the beginning by 5 different conditions. The first condition of covering is called Tamishra, or anger. Constitutionally, each and every living entity has minute independence. It is misuse of the minute independence for the conditioned soul to think that he can also enjoy like the Supreme Lord, or to think, why shall I not be free and enjoy like the Supreme Lord? This forgetfulness of his constitutional position is due to anger or envy. So here Prabhupada is telling us in the purport, this envy is the beginning. The living entity, being eternally a part and parcel servitor of the Supreme Lord, can never by constitution be an equal enjoyer with the Lord. When he forgets this, however, and tries to be one with him, his condition is called Tamishra. Even in the field of spiritual realization, this Tamishra mentality of the living entity is hard to overcome. In trying to get out of the entanglement of material life, there are many who want to be one with the Supreme, even in their transcendental activities. This lower grade mentality of Tamishra continues. So they want to be one with God, or they want to be God. Well, if I can't become God in this body, I'll become God when I leave this body. How can I become God? One way or another, I'll be God. I'll be famous as God, or wealthy as God, or powerful as God, or so many things. Prabhupada also told a story about C.R. Das, Chittaranjan Das, the great lawyer from Bengal, who was very wealthy. So wealthy. Millions and millions of rupees. He lived a very wealthy, powerful, influential life. And there's a story about Chittaranjan Das, about how he used to drink because he was so unhappy. Even though he was so wealthy and powerful and influential, he was unhappy, so he used to drink. But one day, he was standing on the veranda of his law office, and he was looking out, and he saw this sadhu who was sitting in the road with nothing but a loincloth on. He just had on a loincloth. He had no possessions, he had no money, he had no food, he had nothing. He was just living there, but he was singing and he was happy. And so Chittaranjan Das saw him and he was thinking, I have all this and I'm not happy, and he has nothing and he's happy. I want to be like him. So we're always thinking that if we have everything, we'll be happy. If we have nothing, we'll be happy. We have all these crazy ideas. What's the only way to be happy? It's to have Krishna. If we have love of Krishna, we can be happy. And the way to get that is through the chanting, through the practice of Krishna consciousness. So fear comes from illusion. The illusion that you're this body. I am this body, so I will die. So you're afraid. You're afraid of death because you think you're the body. As long as you think you're the body, then you will be afraid of death. So fear is very powerful emotion. And so we try to stop death at all costs. Some people buy guns, they buy bigger guns, they make bombs, they make bigger bombs, and they keep thinking, if I have enough of these bombs, then I won't die. But none of that will help them. None of it will help them. Death is inevitable. Whoever is born, death is certain. This is the real position. This is the real position. So here he's telling that I'm praying to Nrsimhadev, who strikes fear into fear itself, and I pray to Nrsimhadev to thereby make me fearless. I want to be fearless. Svachanda Baiso Kevatsa Shri Garanga Dame Jugala Bhajanaha Ratiha Name Mama Bhakta Kripa Bale Vigna Jabe Dura Shuddha Chete Bhajo Radha Krishna Rasa Pura. When I become fearless like this, then what will happen? Lord Nrsimhadev will say, dear child, sit down freely and live happily here in Sri Gauranga Dham. May you nicely worship the divine couple, and may you develop loving attachment for their holy names. By the mercy of my devotees, all obstacles are cast far away. With a purified heart, just perform the worship of Radha and Krishna, for such worship overflows with sweet nectar. So he's praying that Lord Nrsimhadev will give him the benediction of worshiping Radha and Krishna in Navadvip Dham. And this is what we want. We want to be able to worship Lord Radha. We want to be able to perform worship of Radha and Krishna, because, as he says, such worship overflows with sweet nectar. E boli kabe mora mastaka uppara swiya shri charana harshe daribe ishvara amani jugala preme satvika vikare Daraya lutibo ami shri Nrsimha dware. Saying this, will that Lord delightedly place his own divine lotus feet upon my head. I will experience divine love for the divine couple, Sri Radha and Krishna, and undergo the ecstatic transformations called Sattvika Bhav. Falling on the ground, I will roll about at the door of Sri Nrsimhadev's temple. Well, here we see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that by having the feet of Lord Nrsimhadev on my head, my heart will become cleansed of all the dirty things. The bhajan of Radha and Krishna will go on in my heart, and as a result, the ecstatic symptoms of Sattvika Bhav will manifest in my body, and I will roll around on the ground in the dust of Gauranga Dham at the door of Sri Nrsimhadev's temple. So this prayer, these 5 prayers definitively prove that the worship of Lord Nrsimhadev is very important in our development of Radha Krishna worship, because it is by His mercy that these dirty things can be ripped out of our heart, and it is by His mercy that we can develop a relationship with Radha and Krishna after becoming fearless. Fearless. Why are we fearless? Because Nrsimhadev will strike fear in fear itself. Nrsimhadev will remove the fear of the illusion that I am this body and that I will die. We will know that we are the eternal servitors of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, and we will make great advancement in our spiritual life. So these are a few reflections I have on that prayer. I hope and pray that it has some value for you and that you like it. And I thank everyone for listening. And now I'm going to hand over the microphone. Who's going to move the microphone over for Didi? Hari Mohini. Jai. Thank you very much. Vandandavat Pranam. Svanchakapatri Vyasya Kripa Sindhu Vaishnavi